folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Weekly Movie News Podcast. This week's news brought to you by Taking an Angry Drive Down the Road, House. Yes, so first let's start with some updates from some prior stories. First with Taylor Sheridan moving to NBC Universal from Paramount. Like we said last week, he inked a deal to move to Universal for TV in 2028 and will be starting in the film department next year. The update is that the deal itself, it was for a very large $1 billion. That's huge for Taylor Sheridan, and you can see why he would move over there. Now, the only question is whether or not he can live up to that pricey bid. Also for Sheridan, a film is in development at Paramount currently, and it's going to be a Call of Duty movie. The film will be directed by Peter Berg, who's done Battleship, Hancock, Deepwater Horizon, and probably the most successful, Lone Survivor. Taylor Sheridan will be in charge of writing the script along with Berg. For other updates, we have Luca Guadagnino's American Psycho remake film. Last week, it was rumored that a gender swap might be happening for the main character, and that Margot Robbie was being considered. That is apparently not happening now, and indeed, Patrick Bateman, Christian Bale's character, will stay a man. No updates on who is being considered as of right now. Lastly, I've been staying away from this, but wanted to talk about what currently is going on with Warner Brothers being up for sale. Indeed, Warner Bros. Is looking to be bought. David Ellison from Paramount Skydance did make an offer that was turned down by Warner and its CEO, David Zaslav. Ellison is not giving up, though, and it sounds like he will be making an additional offer. NBC Universal with Comcast is rumored to be interested as well in acquiring the company. But the loudest news is from Netflix. So rumors are that Netflix is preparing an offer for the film studio and streaming side from Warner Bros. Discovery. Next year, Warner will be splitting its operations into two companies, and you can imagine that all parties, Netflix, Universal, and Paramount, would be highly interested in the studio and streamer side of things. So I'll hold off from bitching and moaning on what the film industry looks like if Netflix takes things over and what it means for theatrical releases and such. Let's let this story just develop a little bit longer, and as always, we'll just cover things right here as things develop. On to other news now. Writer and director Doug Liman is quite upset with Amazon MGM Studios, and he's building his own Roadhouse, it appears. So Liman made Roadhouse for Amazon last year, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. The director took on the project thinking the film would get a theatrical release, which was the original plan, but then Amazon pulled the rug out from him last minute when they decided to do an only digital release. This rightfully made Liman quite angry, so now Amazon is working on Roadhouse 2 without Liman, and Liman is making his own Roadhouse movie as well. Yes, in fact, he's currently writing the film alongside writer R. Lance Hill, who co-wrote the original 1989 film. Apparently, this story, currently dubbed Roadhouse: Dylan, will be a direct sequel to the original 1989 film. And in another move, R. Lance Hill, the writer, that he and his legal team had legally recaptured the rights to the original screenplay. Amazon, by the way, doesn't agree, so lawsuits will ensue, I'm sure. But boy, oh boy, what a development. So get ready, we will have 2 Roadhouse sequels coming our way. And now here is some more sequel news. Guy Ritchie will be directing a sequel to 2004's Matthew Vaughn movie, Layer Cake. It is a film that I personally have a lot of love for. It's Daniel Craig's 007 audition without even knowing that it was a 007 audition, really. It's a great movie, and now a sequel film from Guy Ritchie is kind of a bit concerning. I'm not the biggest fan of Ritchie personally, but hey, it's nice to see someone giving Layer Cake some love. The original film was based off of a book of the same name by author J.J. Connolly, and now the sequel film will be called Viva la Badness, which is the name of the sequel book that Connolly wrote in 2011. Just one person has been announced so far for the film, and not surprisingly, it's Jason Statham. This will be Ritchie's and Statham's 6th film together, in fact, so we'll just have to see. Filming will be starting next year. And now, the legend himself, composer John Williams. The man is 93 years old and still conducts live shows to this day. He did retire from film composing, though, after Indiana Jones 5 and The Fabelmans from Spielberg. But not so fast. Williams will come back for one more movie, and very fittingly, it will be for Steven Spielberg once again. Williams is going to compose for the very tightly wrapped UFO Spielberg movie that will be coming out next summer. There isn't even a finalized name for the film yet. It's one of the most anticipated and secretive projects that we've had in a while, so it's kind of exciting. The film will mark the 30th time that Williams and Spielberg have teamed up together. John Williams has been nominated a staggering 52 times at the Oscars. 17 of those nominations came from Spielberg films. So cool, he's coming back for one more ride with Spielberg. Let's jump on over to the box office for this past weekend. So fifth highest grossing film this weekend was newly released Begonia with $4.8 million. Fourth was K-pop Demon Hunters back in theaters. That made $5.3 million. Third was Chainsaw Man, the movie Reza Ark with $6 million. Second was Black Phone 2 yet again. That brought in $8 million. And the biggest film this weekend was Regretting You, making $8.1 million. Not great box office numbers, not just for this week, but for October as a whole. Reports are saying that it is the worst October since 1997. Which just is not great. Talk about regretting you. But anyway, coming up this Thursday, Vincent Daly will be watching, rating, and reviewing. We're all about Yorgos Lanthimos this week, folks. So we are jumping back to his feature film called Dogtooth back in 2009. Then we have The Lobster from 2015. The Killing of the Sacred Deer in 17, The Favorite in 2019, and lastly, the newly released film Begonia. Again, all these films directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. So a weird Thursday we have in store for you for sure, but that's it for your weekly movie news here, folks. We'll leave you today with a quote from a director, Yorgos Lanthimos. I make films that are what they are. Some people like them, and some people don't. And all right, folks, the Daily Ratings Weekly Movie News Podcast, that was it. See you on Thursday.